Umbrella Academy, Season 2. Finished it up. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Personally, I think it's better than the first season, which is rare, you know, when it comes to movies or even kind of these 8-chapter series or shows. Excuse the sniffles. I'm actually just coming from getting my COVID test. I sat for 4+ hours in a parking lot for a 2-minute test. Pretty confident it's just allergies and a minor cold, but you know, I got a family, got a job to do, got to make my money, so figure better safe than sorry, right? So hopefully that comes back negative. Anyways, back to Umbrella Academy. So yeah, let's see. I think Luther's story was probably the weakest. Luther and Klaus, believe it or not. Although I always thoroughly enjoy Klaus's on-screen performance. Dude, get out of the way. This is the fast lane. There wasn't a lot of character development for Klaus, in my opinion, this season. You know, they kind of put a little focus on it toward the end. You know, spoilers. This is a spoiler review. Just a heads up. You know, with kind of Ben, in my opinion, going back to Klaus, his side of the story, right? His part in the series. Ben, in my opinion, was the biggest winner / hero of the season. I knew as soon as all three back in the FBI agency, the building, you know, when they were trying to prevent Vanya from exploding, causing the explosion, which then therefore ultimately leads to Kennedy surviving the shooting. Oh great, there's a cop behind me. You know, it looks like sorry, this cop is on my ass. But yeah, so Kennedy surviving would be, you know, the demise or the cause for the end of the world, part 2. Let me see the cop drive by me now. Looking at Kappa. Yeah, you better keep driving, bitch. Yeah, you know how people always act tough after the fact. What was that? Nothing. I don't even think he was a cop. He's just a guy in a Ford Explorer with tints. But yeah. Then that was probably, I had goosebumps on that scene because I already kind of assumed what was going to happen. You knew he was going to be kind of the savior when he was walking down that hall towards the room with Vanya. And you knew he was going to be the only capable person to get in the room and be able to communicate with her in that state. So that was extremely exciting. I really thoroughly enjoyed that scene. Let's see. And the cliffhanger at the end of season 2, that was clearly Ben with the little sad mustache, with the silhouettes of the Sparrow Academy in the background. So obviously that leads to a lot of assumptions and speculation as to what probably happened throughout that period of time, because they messed up the timeline again. Lila was Lila was ruined for me a little bit. I have to admit, she was ruined for me because Lila, for some reason, and well, not for some reason, I get why Lila was the majority of the fans' favorite, right? They're like, oh my God, Lila, and the plot twist, and all this, and her character, and the character development, and where she started versus where she's at by the end of this last episode. Unfortunately, this is a problem with social media today, is that all that hype got to me. So when I finished the season, and the further I got through the second season, it kind of deflated that for me. Like, I didn't enjoy it as much because everyone kind of sold her up. So, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. Okay, yeah, she has the ability to use other super powers or ability. And she's basically going to helm the timeline, time force, police, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, I get it, but it was killed for me a little bit. 5 is always, he's got to be in second for me. I'm pretty sure 5 is my wife's favorite. And I get why. It's because you think about it, 5 is the oldest, but he's the youngest, right? He's the oldest mentally, but he's physically the youngest. Kind of. Appears physically to be the youngest. And that was pretty cool to see old man 5 trying to, influence Luther to kill the young 5. And vice versa, right? So that was a good back and forth banter or dialogue that I enjoyed. Luther, going back to him, he was the weakest storyline in my opinion, but that says a lot. That doesn't mean it was bad. It was just the weakest because this director did such an awesome job with this show that the other characters shine so much. And Allison, I feel like she got a lot of good screen time. Her story was sad and it made sense. And one thing I really appreciated with Allison's side of the story, and I voiced this to my wife, is I liked how they addressed certain discrimination, and it was more than just discrimination toward blacks. It was, they even addressed Klaus being a homosexual, and they even addressed, Vanya's little family situation where the husband, the dad of the farm home she was staying in, was pretty much the product result of being a man stuck in those times, being raised on those beliefs, right? So he truly felt everything he said and did was the right thing, right? He was just a stubborn man that was raised with his father's beliefs, and he thought being a lesbian was punishable, right? It was wrong, and it was just being motivated to be a lesbian was something from a Russian spy that they trained to brainwash them. It's absurd hearing it out loud, but it makes sense that back then people can be so blind and they didn't understand enough or weren't open-minded enough to realize what was right, what was wrong. So we've come a long way. We still got a long way to go as humanity itself, but I got the dramatic lane shift behind me because he wants to get over after I'm going 82. But yeah, I like the way they addressed racism without using the N with the hard R, right? They did it. They represented it enough so that you realized and you experienced how nasty it was and could have been. But also, they did it without the typical Hollywood approach, right? Because typical Hollywood approach would be, we're just going to say N with the hard R, and we're just going to beat them and whip them and throw them in a corner with no food. And you realize, that's just for show. The reality of it was, yes, absolutely, people suffered from those types of things. But more in the 60s and 70s, it was more of a political type approach, right? It was, follow the rules. You can't read. This is a whites-only restaurant. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it, although it was difficult to watch, right? Any racism depicted in a movie or show is supposed to get you uncomfortable because it wants you to live through that experience and feel why these people feel this way and kind of the reasons behind their actions after the fact. So they're justifying whatever happens next, or justifying the way they feel. So I appreciate it. There was a lot of effort behind that. I can tell the director did an awesome job with it. So I really liked Allison's story. But that's pretty much it for me. I don't want to spend too much time breaking down the season. Comment below your favorite character and what your favorite episode or scene was, and subscribe, like the video. Kind of helps the channel grow. Our subscribe count is extremely low, but I am fairly brand new to this, so I'll continue to put out content in hopes that you guys subscribe, and that'll continue to motivate me to create more content and be a little more unique. I hope you like these ride-along reviews. I think it's a unique concept. I know people make videos in cars, but sometimes I will intentionally leave the house, and it's not for any reason other than to create something for you guys. So I think it's I enjoy